What's up? What's happening, everybody? Welcome back to the technical area. This is the review show as we break down match week 11 and get into some of the little details there and what happened and how everything broke down. Obviously, we're gonna give you the quick recap of the week and then break down some of our teams to look at from the week and of course our game of the week. But without further ado, before we get into any of that stuff, we need to get to that recap of the week that was. So here we go. Right now, let's get to Around the Premier League in 180 seconds. We start the weekend off in Bournemouth, where United took on the Cherries. Joshua King slotted one home just before the half for the only goal in this one, as United dropped points again 1-0. Over to London, where West Ham hosted Newcastle. In one of the bigger surprises of the weekend, Newcastle dominated the first half. The Toons built a 3-0 lead by the 51st minute and held on for all 3 points, winning 3-2. Another surprise performance this weekend, Aston Villa against Liverpool. The Claret and Blue took the lead in the 21st minute and held it until the 87th when Andrew Robertson and Sadio Mane both found the net for Liverpool as the Reds pull out another late victory, 2-1. Back to London, where a struggling Arsenal took on Wolves. Aubameyang opened the scoring for Arsenal in the 21st, but the struggles would continue. Jimenez bagged the equalizer for Wolves in the 76th as this one ended 1-1. One of the surprises of the entire season, Sheffield United, who took on Burnley. The Blades put in another great performance, scoring 3 goals in the first half and holding Burnley scoreless as Sheffield United move into 6th place, winning 3-0. Over to Brighton, where the Seagulls hosted Norwich. This one was scoreless through the first half, but Leandro Trossard, just recently back from injury, would come on and make the difference. A goal and an assist for the Belgian as Brighton win their second in a row, 2-0. From Brighton to Manchester, where City hosted Southampton, the Saints grabbed an early lead in the 13th minute, but much like Villa, the lead would not stand. Goals by Aguero and Walker in the last 20 minutes won it for City as they keep up with Liverpool, winning 2-1. One of the hottest teams in the Premier League right now, Chelsea, took on one of the worst teams in Watford this weekend. The Blues jumped out to an early lead on a Tammy Abraham goal in the 5th minute and didn't look back. Christian Pulisic scored again as Chelsea won 2-1. Staying in London, Crystal Palace hosted Leicester. This one was scoreless through the first 45, but Leicester would eventually break down the Palace defense. Goals in the 57th and 87th helped the Foxes to a 2-0 victory on the road. The final game of the weekend, Everton taking on Spurs. Unfortunately, this one was all about an injury rather than the game. Andre Gomes suffered a terrible ankle injury after a bad challenge by Heung-min Son that warranted a red card as both teams scored in the second half, with this one ending somberly in a 1-1 draw. All right, well, there you have it. That is your recap for match week 11. A lot of kind of interesting games going on. Some surprises, of course, in the Man City and the Liverpool games. Arsenal dropping points again. Man United also dropping points again. Of course, that horror injury in the Everton-Tottenham game. So a lot of different storylines coming out of this one. And with that, we'll get into breaking down the team of the week and the underperforming team of the week, as well as the game of the week. So let's get right to that. Our team of the week for this week, I have Sheffield United. I think they played fantastic this weekend. Granted, they didn't play anybody in the top 6 or any of those top level teams, but they played a Burnley team who has a pretty solid defense. Burnley's only let up 3 goals 2 other times this season against Liverpool. And then against Chelsea last week where they let up 4 goals. And this Sheffield United team, this was the first time they scored 3 goals all year. They've been playing fantastically. They really, the defense has been so important for them. You look at every one of their games, it seems like mostly, and this plays into them not scoring a lot of goals, it seems like every one of their games is like 1-1, 1-0. And, it's interesting to watch them because they're so good defensively for a team that's newly promoted, a team that's now in 6th place overall. And, it's a lot of fun to be able to watch them go on that rise from a neutral perspective, and this week was no different. Again, taking on a Burnley team who has a pretty solid defense, going out there scoring 3 goals, not in the whole game, but in the first half, and then carrying that victory out all the way through. Of course, some of these teams, especially these newly promoted teams who haven't been in the Premier League too long, they get up in that 3-0 lead in the first half, and they may take their foot off the gas pedal a little bit and let the other team back in, but the defense for Sheffield United was fantastic once again, as it has been all year, really. And the offense really came to life in this one. It was a really good all-around team performance, and that's why I have them here as my team of the week. Moving now to our underperforming team of the week, our underperformer of the week. There was a lot of people or a lot of teams that could have been in this category. Obviously, Man City falling behind 1-0 to Southampton, needing a couple late goals to win it. Liverpool, similar situation where they fell down 1-0 early and needed a couple of goals to win it. Arsenal going up early and then letting Wolves back into the game. But, the difference between all of those teams and the team I'm about to pick out right now is that those teams still grabbed at least a point or grabbed all 3 points. Man United did not, and that's why they're my underperforming team of the week, just because they come off this win against Norwich and you think, okay, maybe they figured things out. It's 3-1, and they come out flat. They can't score goals. I think they had 6 shots on target, controlled some of the possession, but couldn't really get anything from it. And Bournemouth doing what they do best at the Vitality, or Dean Court, whichever one you want to go with. Grabbing a goal and then holding the other team from the defensive end. Man United really needs to start figuring this out because they just keep falling further and further down the table. And if you look at the table right now, they're in 10th place with 13 points. That's only 2 points above of Everton, who is in 17th place, 3 points above the relegation zone. They have not looked good. I mean, there's been a lot of teams that haven't looked good, but Man United, one of those teams that has the talent to be good and be up there with those top 6, and has been nowhere near it so far this season. So that is why I have them as my underperforming team of the week, because they couldn't perform again against a team that they probably in the end should end up beating. And then finally, guys, as we finish breaking down this week that was match week 11, we get to our game of the week. Again, a lot of good options here. You had, Everton-Tottenham was 1-1, a very late goal in that one. Watford-Chelsea was a pretty good match, but, Man City-Southampton, as I mentioned, and Liverpool-Aston Villa both had, really good finishes in terms of a couple late goals. But, I'm sorry, just Man City. I'm going to go with the Liverpool game. My apologies there. I'm going to go with the Liverpool-Aston Villa game because that game had the latest goals. Aston Villa was doing so well, and they had, up until the 87th minute. This is why I chose it over the Man City game, which was a similar situation. Up until the 87th minute, it was 1-0 Aston Villa, and it looked like Liverpool might lose their first game in the Premier League this season, which is also a big storyline. And they just, Liverpool doing what they do best, or doing what they've been doing really the last few games, getting that late goal, managing to get a point, or in this case, all 3 points. And they're just showing that resiliency and that power, and I guess you could say a little bit of luck of a team that is on their way to winning the Premier League. They've been fantastic so far this season. Haven't lost a game yet. Only 1 draw on the season. Pulling out these victories late. It's been an unbelievable season for them, and this was a really, truly unbelievable game with those late goals, and that's why I have it as my game of the week. So there you have it, guys. That's your Match Week 11 review show, breaking down what we can there from the week that was, and giving you, of course, our team of the week, underperforming team of the week, and game of the week, as we like to do every week. Hopefully, you guys got little tidbits there that can help you hold a conversation in the Premier League. in a Premier League conversation. And hopefully you guys are keep enjoying these and keep following. And we got the preview show for match week 12 coming up on Friday. So keep listening, keep watching, and we'll talk to you guys then. Peace.